All right, hello there. You're watching SME on Point. Thank you so much for joining us here on the SABC News channel. Really excited to bring you SME on Point. Clatural Wear and the Cultural Academy for Sustainable Art is a social enterprise that is quietly stitching together a new kind of African economy from cutting room floor. The academy is taking what most of us see as textile waste and turning it into high-value art and fashion, while equipping marginalized women and people with disabilities with real entrepreneurial skills and viable market opportunities across the continent. They're rooted in a zero-waste, ethically minded fashion philosophy, where this work speaks directly to Africa's evolving entrepreneurial ecosystem and the promise of the African continental free trade area, where small creative businesses can now scale, trade, and also tell their stories beyond borders. To tell us more about the Clatural Academy for Sustainable Art, I'm joined by Clara Pinkrah-Sam, who's currently based in Ghana. Clara, thank you so much for joining us here on SME on Point. We're really, really excited to talk more about it, the Academy and what it does. I'm just checking if I have Clara on the line. Is Clara on the line? Okay, we've lost Clara. But while we try to get hold of Clara, we do have another initiative. Okay, I believe that she's back. The joys of live TV. Clara, thank you so much for joining us on SME on Point. We're really excited to have you here. Please tell us about the Academy and how exactly it is using this waste to turn into beautiful fashion, as well as empowering women at the same time.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. So Clatural Academy for Sustainable Art is focused on infusing sustainability, the practice of sustainability, into the work of all artists. And emerged from my brand, Clatural, where we already use textile waste to craft our unique pieces of wearable art, like you can see me wearing.
Yeah.
Our pieces are sustainable, and what we do is we use textile waste and what we call rejected fabric from large production houses and stores. And we craft using a unique technique such that the global 15% of waste that is averagely conceived or produced from the production of every single garment, we have been able to reduce that to 0.2% per an item.
Yeah.
So this is what we do at Clatural.
That's beautiful. At a time of the Africa Continental Free Trade area that's opening up this single market for goods and services, how are you positioning your trainees and the Academy's products to take advantage of regional value chains and cross-border demand?
That's a very intelligent question, and I must laud you for that. It is very important as a premium brand that we align ourselves to go even beyond the continent. I mean, if you want to survive in this era of internet proliferation where you can be anywhere and still be everywhere, it is important that you know your target client. What we do at Clatural is we produce fine premium luxury products, from masterpieces of wearable art to non-wearable art like carpets, table accessories, cushions, and many more. What we do is we ensure our products meet international standard when it comes to finishing and crafting. We also ensure that what we are producing is not just beautiful and glamorous, but is impactful. So we employ persons living with disability and marginalized women. And we're beyond the level where people just buy things because they're beautiful or because they're usable. But people are buying meaning. They are buying the impact that your brand makes. And that is where our focus is. So that we leverage on that to be able to reach not just beyond Ghana, but worldwide.
Yeah. Speaking of worldwide, what is the best way that you can collaborate with other small businesses in this creative economy, let's say here in South Africa while you are there in Ghana, to make sure that the work is spread across the continent?
Thank you. So what we do is we offer free training and collaboration with other brands, obviously that align with making impact in our society and in the world in terms of environmental preservation. We are already present in South Africa with our masterpieces at the House of Nala. What we also encourage other West African smaller brands is we are open for collaboration in terms of training and asking them to infuse sustainability in their processes of manufacturing. That way, we are very much aligned with impact, with our purpose, our mission, our vision, and we are able to sell and promote our products as Africans together, like I said, not just within the African continent, but to the world.
Yeah. As I prepare to let you go, in what ways can governments and policymakers enable and make your work easy so that this becomes, like you say, a global movement of waste being turned into sustainable fashion?
Our attempt at Clatural and our mission is we are redefining fashion, African fashion for that matter. We believe that in Africa, our systems and our culture is such that sustainability was an integral part of our upbringing. Everybody wore their big sister's clothes. Everybody wore their big brother's shorts or shirts, some way or the other. So passing on clothing and preservation of the environment is important and has been part of our culture. So what we extend to policymakers is the fact that the global harm that the fashion industry is creating is very alarming. If you care to know, the fashion industry is the second largest pollution causer on the planet Earth. And we need to shape policy about imported used clothes. We need to shape policy about imported fast fashion, where they are so literally so cheap that you wear them for once. We need to put in policies that will minimize these importations and then put in policies that help finance companies and organizations such as CASA to be able to empower our youth, because we can create enormous amounts of job in skills development, which will help promote our economy, our GDP, and our continent at large.
Clara Pinkrah-Sam is the founder and the brains behind Clatural Academy for Sustainable Art, currently based in Ghana. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to hear about what you're doing with women out there in Ghana and with fashion. And with that, we're going to take you to another interview that I think it's going to surprise you with its innovation, because it's really doing amazing work where most street vendors, don't have the tools, that or resources to fully participate in the digital economy. This means that many of them are left out of the growing digital economy. This makes it so hard for them to grow their businesses and keep up as more people move away from using cash and they're now using more plastic money. To solve this, entrepreneur Costas Kolaides created Street Wallet. It's a fintech that allows vendors to accept digital payments using simple QR code, and they can send or cash out at major supermarkets after that. The company has raised so far 6.2 million rands to expand this impact nationwide. Costa joins us live now to explain the initiative. Costa, thank you so much and welcome to SME on Point. What an innovative initiative and project. Tell us more about it and how you're changing lives with it.
Hi, Liaba. Thank you so much for having me on the show. A little bit about Street Wallet is our goal is to help South Africa's informal workers thrive in a cashless economy. And we do this with a simple solution that removes all the hurdles that you traditionally see in the digital economy. You've got a lot of street traders in South Africa that are stuck in the cash world, and the transition into digital comes with a list of hurdles that just keeps them out of earning more money.
You mentioned that you've already raised 6.2 million rand. How many vendors has this covered so far in bringing them into the fold?
We're in a couple of thousand at the moment. We're also not focused only on street vendors, but also on businesses that have access to workers. So there's a recent announcement we shared about our partnership with Plush Car Wash, which has about 300 washers. And we've seen more and more that it's not just the street traders that are struggling to get into this space, but there's a lot of businesses that can't afford to roll out a few hundred card devices within their business. The capital expenditure is very high. So we're working very closely with businesses, we're working with street traders, and as we grow, we're learning about new markets that are needing our product.
Yeah. What I know that, with fintechs and digital technology is able to bring in a lot of data that otherwise we would not have. What sort of trends is this telling you about street trading when you look at the transactions that are being made?
Firstly, people do want to pay digitally. So in the low tipping value ecosystem where you traditionally hear, sorry, I don't have cash. What we've seen is that there's, from the traditional 10 Rand cash or 20 Rand cash, we're seeing an average of 38 Rand payments in the tipping economy.
Okay.
So just by having a digital method to pay, you're already giving more tips. So that's one piece of kind of valuable data that's helping the economy.
This is also extending into digital inclusion as a whole, because a lot of people who are in street trading, you'd find that ordinarily, they don't have bank accounts. But I'm sure you're seeing how this is helping with financial inclusion as a whole in the entrepreneurial ecosystem.
So one thing that Street Wallet is focused on is interoperability. And what I mean by that is we're breaking the closed loops that most fintechs create. So what you'll see in, think of any fintech that you use daily, they're usually a closed loop that needs both sides of the transaction to have the system on their phone. What we've seen is that by creating an ecosystem where we're the middleman that converts digital payments into whatever form, you don't need a bank account, you don't need an account with different fintechs.
Sure.
You can have whatever solution you already have, and the payers have whatever solution they already have, and we do the switching. And so we create an interoperable ecosystem that whether you have a bank account, whether you have a wallet from one particular company, or SnapScan, Zapper, or Apple Pay, we can interoperate this ecosystem. And I believe that is the goal for financial inclusion, and not just bringing another product that needs everyone to sign up to Street Wallet.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know, Leah, but we don't need either the payers or the receivers to download a Street Wallet app. And we're really trying to stay true to a light solution for the ecosystem.
Yeah, I've got just a minute left with you. Please tell my viewers how they can be part of it, and how exactly they get into being part of Street Wallet.
So you can visit our website, streetwallet.co.za, and you can self-sign up anywhere across South Africa. You just need a phone number and a photo of yourself, and a few basic information will get asked. But once you get that, you can start trading. And if you'd like a physical QR code, we can also provide one of those. And it's that simple.
All right. Entrepreneur Costas Kolaitis is the creator of Street Wallet. I think it's a phenomenal initiative. Thank you so much for joining us on SME On Point. And he's been talking to us about Street Wallet that helps, most street vendors to also participate in the digital economy. That's SME On Point for you for today. Remember to support small businesses in your communities. Let's let those rands and cents circulate. Goodbye.